morning friends. In the last tutorial we studied about the model attribute annotation and we checked how the data binding is being done automatically with the help of model attribute annotation. So that was one of the key feature of model attribute annotation, that automatically the data is being binded to the bean class. We don't need to we don't need to instantiate the object of the bean class and then use the setter method to bind the HTML form element values to the member variables of the bean class. And also we don't need to add that particular object to my model and view and then use it in my GSP form. That all those two things were being done automatically. We also have one more use of model attribute annotation. What actually is that? Suppose you are having a one controller class and multiple request handler method in it, just like we have it over here. Now see, suppose there are some common objects to both the request handler method. Like there is one object, I would just want to display tel training form here as well as here. So what I will do is I'll say model dot add object. I'll just say heading, training form. Suppose I just want to display this heading whenever this request handler is also being called. So what I'll do is I will be adding it over here. So now this object is common to both the request handler. So in such scenarios we can use a model attribute annotation and we can just segregate out the common objects to the request handler methods and write it at a one place only. Let's see how it is done. Okay, let's see how actually it works first. We have a training form, so this is training form.jsp. Here I am hard coding this value, so instead of this what I can use is I can simply say heading. You can make this caps. Okay, now similarly when the success.jsp is called, I again want to display the heading. I haven't used it over here, so what I can do is okay. So now let's run this application and see how it works. I am getting tel training form because when this URL is being hit, request goes to this request handler. This request handler will call the training form.jsp where I am displaying this heading and the further content. So that is what it is coming over here. So it has done the values. Say I just submitted this form, Ravi music Now I will be submitting the form. When I submit the form, request goes to this submit form.html and then it calls success.jsp, and in success.jsp I am again displaying my heading and the other details. So it has shown me the heading and the other details. So this telcoma training form is common to both the request handler methods. So what I can do is I can just take this common object out of all the request handler methods and write it at one place using the model attribute annotation. So this is another feature of model attribute annotation. Now just let's see the working of it. What we need to use is model attribute annotation public void. It will not return anything. You can just name it as model objects. It will take only the model class instance. Here you need to add the attribute. What will be its name? It's heading. Now we can remove this from here. Even from this request handler, we don't need to add it over here. Let's see the work. Let's see how is it running, then I'll explain what actually happens. So server is getting restarted. We got the URL. First we need to training form.html. It's showing me the heading. Let's add some object. Let's add any mobile number. Submit the form. Again we are getting the heading, that is telcoma training form. Now we haven't added both these headings to the request handler individually, rather we have done it at one place. So what Spring MVC does is, first of all, whenever the request comes to a controller class, first it checks the model attribute annotation at the method level. So if we have any model attribute annotation at method level, then it checks the model objects which are present inside that and automatically add it to all the request handler methods present inside that class. So when we enter training form.html, request comes over here and it goes to this model attribute annotation, and this is automatically added to this request handler as well as this request handler. So this heading is present, object is present in this as well as this. That is why we are able to access it in my training form JSP as well as success.jsp and see the data. So clear. So model attribute can also be used to just take out the common objects out of all the request handler methods. So that's it.